Good morning. It is Thursday, September 24th, and welcome to Sociality Squared's weekly Director's Cut, where I talk about content that we've created at Sociality Squared and commentary on social media news and trends. Today, the theme for today, or the key topic, is the future is female and what that means to Sociality Squared. So stay tuned. And while we're a social media agency, this is not a normal year, and a lot is happening in the world that we can't just ignore. And I just want to acknowledge we've surpassed 200,000 people to the coronavirus in the United States. Breonna Taylor did not get justice yesterday, nor did the officers involved in her murder have any accountability. And we lost Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Friday. So it's a lot. My heart is with your heart. My heart is especially with the Black community right now. And as I say on this broadcast, I know we're only into the second episode in season 2, but I said this a lot over the summer. It's easy just to see numbers and think of only the numbers and forget the people behind the statistics. And each one of these people, or each one of these, 200,000 people was a person, a father, mother, brother, daughter, uncle, loved one that has been lost. And we're grieving as a country, and I hope everyone holds space for that, and we're still in the middle of it. And here at Sociality Squared, we don't want business to return to normal. We want to create a better standard, one rooted in anti-racism and radical inclusion and equality. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg was dedicated to equality, and everyone in the United States, especially women, have benefited from her trailblazing and dynamic life's work. And one way to honor her, and I encourage everyone to do this, and I will be doing this every week until the election, is to register to vote, have a plan. Each state is different on how you can do it. Make sure, even after you've registered to vote, that check to make sure that the registration has gone through and is still accurate, and get out and vote. I know some states have opened up for early voting, so register to vote, vote. Can't say that and encourage that enough. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Helen Todd, the co-founder and CEO of Sociality Squared. We're a social media agency who understands the magic of people coming together around what they value and love. And clients partner with us to grow their businesses and know that we always remember behind every screen is a person. In the comments after this video, I'll share some links to where we can connect, where you can connect to me and Sociality Squared. And I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, which is a monthly roundup of all of the key or the biggest news and updates, and the key links that we share on social media and on this broadcast. So today, at our new time at 8 a.m., I'll be covering some Sociality Squared news, the theme of the future is female, some social media news, and some inspiration. So we'll dive right in. So I mentioned this last week, so if you didn't catch the episode, you might have noticed that my background is different from last week, and that background was different from the summer season broadcast. I have moved, therefore Sociality Squared has moved from New York City to Cincinnati. We have a beautiful commercial space here, and it's still being renovated, so the backgrounds will keep changing this season, but it should be like this for a few weeks. But we're very excited to be in Cincinnati. We've got some of the team here. We're a virtual team, so team members are spread out all across the country, and we've been like this since the founding of the company. But we do have a base here in Cincinnati with Christy and Amy and myself now and a few clients. And then also a conference that's headquartered in Brandon or in Cincinnati that I've been a part of for the past 4 years is coming up again, and instead of an in-person one, it will be virtually October 7th and 8th, and this is Brandemonium. And I'll be speaking on October 8th from 11:45 to 12:15 on the future of voice and marketing. This year, because of the pandemic, they're trying to make it as accessible as possible, so tickets are only $10, and they've got a really great lineup of speakers. And the topic really is kind of voice is such a big trend and pushing the tech industry. It's kind of at the cutting edge of that, so I'm excited to that was the theme that they picked and to be able to speak to that too. Other news, we're going to be closed as a company on November 3rd for the election, and really we're very accommodating in general for the team. If anyone wants to vote early, they will be out of the office to do that, but as a company, that's one way how we're supporting and encouraging the team to vote. Other news, South by Southwest is open for proposals. They just announced this yesterday. It's a little late for them to be announcing, but it seemed like they took a while to figure out what's going to happen. March is going to be a virtual event, and they're still hoping to have some sort of in-person event next year. So I always encourage everyone, if you have an idea and want to speak, to definitely do a proposal. One reason I'm a big advocate and love South by Southwest is it's not just notoriety, it's about ideas. You can have small companies like myself on stage at the same time as Joe Biden and the cast of Game of Thrones. So it really is a great conference that surfaces and ideas and really does try to be inclusive. So just Google South by Southwest. I didn't put the dates in here, but I think it's October 6th, the deadline it's coming up. I think that it's October 6th through 16th, but don't quote me on that too much. And also on the team, yesterday was our graphic designer. He's also a fabulous video editor, Tom's birthday. So I just wanted to give him a shout out and say, happy birthday, Tom. And then like this page on Facebook, if you haven't already, and you'll get notified when I go live. For the fall season, I'll be going live every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. East Coast time. And then all of the recordings are available afterwards if you don't catch it live. And as I mentioned, do sign up for our monthly newsletter. Since it's already almost the end of September, the September issue will be coming out soon. Okay. So the theme is the future is female. I was actually having a hard time deciding what today's theme would be, and just talking about social media, how to engage people, or tactics, or just didn't resonate well with me. So I'll go more into the tactical and how to social media stuff down the line. But with Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing, seemed like it was a good topic for today. And we're a female-owned company. I identify as a woman. And I've worn t-shirts. Actually, one year at South by Southwest, every day I wore a t-shirt that said the future is female. And I've never, I guess, really talked about what it means to me. And I have had interesting conversations with men who feel left out because of the phrase and that it has the word female in it. So I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it and what it means to me and Sociality Squared. And a lot of my views have been informed by Gloria Steinem and Madame Gandhi, who I'll quote in a little bit, and just my amazing friends who are advocates for equality. I think, just personally, probably before founding Sociality Squared, feminism had like this, kind of negative connotation. So I probably was a little late to the game over the past 10 years of actually really embracing it myself. But one of the things I've got to hear Gloria Steinem speak a few times in New York City, and she said something interesting at one of the talks, is that women tend to become more radical the older they get because more of life experiences kind of show them the inequalities over time. So I don't know. I guess that also applies to me. It does apply to me. But anyway, so first and foremost, the future is female is about equality. Feminism is about equality, and what I mentioned, it has female in the name, but it really takes an intersectional approach to equality. And it doesn't exclude men, it doesn't exclude the trans community. It's been criticized for that in the past. It's really about everyone being treated equal, regardless of skin color, gender identity, sexual orientation, ability, whatever it is that makes people different in the broadest sense of the word. It's all about equality, like everyone just being treated equal. And it's also about recognizing that there are male and female energies in each of us and reflected in society. And these energies have been out of balance. We've seen the repercussions of toxic masculinity in the workforce and in our society. And, it's been out of balance too, because feminine qualities like empathy can be painted and have been painted in the past as being weak. And luckily, this year, and I think empathy has become a buzzword, and almost to the point where, as a good friend, Eric Solomon, pointed out, like we actually need to define what empathy means and put action items behind it. And emotional intelligence, that's a feminine trait that's becoming more embraced mainstream in general. But these are feminine qualities and energies that we can bring into leadership positions and into our lives. And one thing that Gloria Steinem says is that the future's female is not about hierarchy instead of ranking. It's about linking together and joining together. And social media, a lot of these things lends itself very much to the work that we do at social media about empathy and listening, making sure that the people that we connect with on social media feel heard and acknowledged, and building communities and coming together. And one thing, I couldn't say these better than Madame Gandhi, so I'm just going to quote something that she wrote on one of her blog posts, which I'll include in the link to this video, which I like how she says it. We say the future is female as a call to action to remember that we have so much to learn from those who have been typically underestimated in a cis heteronormative Caucasian-led patriarchal system. We say the future is female as a personal reminder to ourselves that each of us has a voice and that we must own it. We have heard the critics of the Black Lives Matter movement say all lives matter. This is foolish, as all lives are not under siege in this country the way that Black lives have been for centuries. So the slogan Black Lives Matter exists because we have to remind you. When we say save the dolphins, we don't mean kill the whales. Similarly, when we say the future is female, we want it to serve as a reminder that alternative and possible stronger forms of leadership lie in untapped resources. That hope lies in looking to those voices that have been typically unheard. That hope lies in passing the mic to those who have never had a mic before and having the bravery, respect, and diligence not to speak over them. In modern history, there have been few examples of female leadership. We do not know its power, its breadth, its diversity. So I thought that captured it really well. And I'd love to hear, what the future is female means to you. So feel free to leave a comment or reach out to Instagram, Twitter, or by email. Or if you feel super offended by me saying all of this, I encourage you to get curious about why that comes up. Or if you want to have a conversation with me personally to just kind of talk about it, I can listen, and I'd love to have those conversations. I know this is kind of a one-way street with me broadcasting right now, but if you just want a safe space to say, I've never, I've thought about feminism in a positive way before because of, however I was raised, it was treated as a dirty word. I can be a safe space to talk about it with no judgment. I know I've evolved on my own personal journey too. And in general, I invite everyone to reflect on, what call to action or what phrase evokes challenges and reminds you about the need for equality. It can be different for everyone. So that's the theme today, and it's something that's important to me and to Sociality Squared. So I'd love to hear what it means to you and what questions you have, and truly the invitation is open. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation too, just reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll leave those links in the description if you don't have them. Okay, so about 10 minutes left. I try to keep these to about 30 minutes. So in general social media news, I think we're only 40 days out from the election, and all of the social media platforms have had to deal with oh goodness, how to even encapsulate it in a short amount of words, but the potential, well, not even the potential, voter suppression, hate speech, invoking violence, and they are currently, we know that they're currently being manipulated by bad actors to manipulate the election. So there's a lot on their plate, and over the past couple months, each of the platforms have kind of taken their own approach in applying their terms of service and what they've deleted, what they've left up with warnings and whatnot. And Facebook, in a recent, I don't know when they announced it offhand, but said that they will reject political ads that spread misinformation. Well, I guess I should say one of the steps that they took after a lot of criticism for not taking enough steps is to not run any political ads whatsoever the week before the election. And then Fast Company came out with a great article saying, well, what about November 4th, the day after the election, if Trump were to claim a victory without having it, what happens then? It's not just the week before. And after that article, Facebook actually, because of the article, updated what it said to reject political ads that spread misinformation about the outcome of the November 3rd election. And this happened several hours. So little small good news from Facebook doing that. They still have a lot more that they could be and should be doing. And also kudos to Fast Company for their article. Just kind of reinforces the need for good journalism too. And in general, yeah, and actually I mentioned this last week and linked to it in last week's broadcast that there was a really good interview with Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, on the need for regulation for social media, that it's an industry-wide problem. So it was good to hear him say that. And there's a good article, I wasn't really planning on referencing it today, from Casey Newton talking about kind of how we got to where we're at right now with social media, which I'll talk about more next week. But basically, all of these decisions with Facebook is coming down to one person. Mark Zuckerberg, and his decisions impact over 3 billion people that use the platform. And it's just, in my opinion, too much power for one person, and that impacts the content that is distributed to so many people. And we know that the content that we consume impacts how we think and impacts our actions. And we know this because we spend a lot of money on advertising to reach people to impact their buying behavior. So the content that we read informs us. What hopefully, if you're watching this, you'll take some of this into consideration and inform your own thinking, whether you disagree, agree, or otherwise. Anyway, but small nugget of good news on that front, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. On the marketing side of things, another small win, or big win for advertisers, there's a rule, or has been a rule with Facebook advertising, that if you do images, that less than 20% of the image needs to have text. This came from kind of wanting to have beautiful imagery and a great experience for users, and just to minimize text all in the ads. From an advertising standpoint, it's been really annoying from a design perspective to understand exactly 20% and use the grid and create graphic or images separate from wall posts that will meet these standards. So they're getting rid of this rule. So thank you, Facebook, for finally doing that. So that's a nice win. And then so I'll talk about the Casey Newton article. I kind of just scanned through it, and I really want to read it more thoroughly before speaking about it, because he does really great in-depth reporting. And he also has a newsletter that I'll link to that I highly encourage. I think he's probably one of my favorite journalists that writes about social media topics today. There's a lot of other great ones out there too, but he's one of my personal go-to sources. Okay, and then for the inspiration today, it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. How could I not include her? And there's so many great resources online. I think I just saw the New York Times is doing a special section for young people who don't know her full life's work and legacy, to be able to learn about her. I know I watched, there's a documentary on her, and then the feature film, what is the name of it? On the Basis of Sex is so good. And give a great, encapsulate her story so well. So if you haven't seen either one of those, definitely recommend them. It's on my list to rewatch them, but those are great that I recommend too. And I haven't actually, my sister-in-law was talking to me the other day about actually reading her dissents. I don't think I've actually read her dissents word for word, so that's also on my weekend to-do list. But since today's theme is the future of female, this is one quote, one of her popular quotes that seems apt to share today. So she said, "When I'm sometimes asked, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? And my answer is, when there are 9. People are shocked. But there'd be 9 men, and nobody's ever raised a question about that." So that is the episode for today. Thank you for joining, especially if you listened to all of it and are here at the end. I know that there's a million ways that you can spend your time, so I appreciate you sharing your time with us today. And again, like the page, like our Sociality Squared page on Facebook, if you haven't already, and sign up for our monthly newsletter. September's is coming out soon because the month is quickly ending. And I look forward to joining you again next week, next Thursday at 8 a.m. East Coast time. So thank you.